So just to give you a sense of where we are now, you can think of the first set of ideas, the ideas that we arrived as that which gave us, say, 6 to 8% growth. You can think of the second set of ideas, which are the ideas that we need to implement, but we all agreed upon, which will maintain that growth. Because if you educate everybody, you have better cities, you have better infrastructure, and you have a single market, obviously the economy will do well. The third set of ideas, to my mind, is that which can accelerate growth. Because if you can have labor reforms, if you can create opportunity for all castes, if you can have higher education done, then you actually can accelerate growth because you'll create a much bigger middle class that will pay taxes and so forth. Now, but having done this, it's not enough, because all these things maybe can create the economy to grow at 8-10% a year for years to come. But what about the problems of prosperity? Because we are so used to the problems of shortage that we have to now reset our minds and say, what are the problems of prosperity? And therefore the last section, which is what I call as the ideas we need to anticipate, are the issues of prosperity. And here I said, why not look at what's happening in the developed countries? And why not look at what has gone wrong there? And why not learn from those lessons and anticipate the problems of prosperity? So in that sense, it's looking at the future in a different way. And here I really look at 5 things. First, I look at how, being a techie type of a guy, how technology can be used for transformation. And when I say transformation of governance, transformation of transparency, transformation of single markets, transformation of giving direct benefits to the poor, those kind of things. The second thing I talk about is the issue of health, because, and I call this chapter from hunger to heart disease, because in all this prosperity, there's no point going from the highest country, the country with the highest number of malnutrition and infant mortality, to the country with the highest number of heart attacks and obesity. It doesn't make sense. So there's no point going from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. And therefore, how do we anticipate the whole health issue rather than go through the problems of healthcare challenges that we find today in other countries and anticipate that? The third one in this is really again about social insurance and entitlements. Today, part of the problem which we have in developed countries in Europe and US is aging population, huge entitlements like Social Security and Medicare, and unfunded liabilities, all that stuff. Now, right now, because we have a young population, we don't worry about these things. But 40 years from now, if we repeat those mistakes, we'll create exactly the same problem they are. And therefore, is there a way to anticipate the whole issue of social insurance while we are a young country and put in place the incentives and mechanisms so that we don't create a burden when we become an older country? So again, looking